A photograph of a German shepherd rescuing a little girl from a lake spread like wildfire online. But the truth behind it was darker than anyone knew. A heavy fog hung over Willow Creek Lake as Adam Carter parked his black Escalade near the dock. His 8-year-old daughter, Maisie, sat silently in her wheelchair, clutching her teddy bear. Beside her stood Wolf, the German shepherd Adam had recently brought home. The dog sensed something wrong and growled low in his throat. Moments later, a splash broke the silence. Across the creek, 70-year-old Gus, a retired NYPD detective, heard the bark and saw the child in the water. Dropping his feed bucket, he sprinted to the shore. Wolf was already dragging Maisie from the current. Exhausted but relentless, the dog pulled her to safety, laying her on the pebbled bank. Gus knelt, pressing his hands against her small chest until water poured from her lungs. She gasped alive. Wolf, bloodied from a gash, never looked away from her. Inside his cabin, Gus covered the trembling girl with a blanket. Wolf curled at her side, protective and watchful. The tire tracks near the dock, the wheelchair abandoned, everything screamed foul play. 6 months earlier, Maisie had overheard her father's voice in his study. Words like foundation accounts and 2 million offshore had burned into her memory. She remembered her mother, Grace, who supposedly died in a car crash. That night, she dreamt of her mother surrounded by blue butterflies. She woke certain her mother had tried to warn her. The next day, Adam introduced Wolf, claiming he was from a shelter. But Maisie knew the dog from before. She whispered secrets to him, about her father's late-night phone calls, about her fear. Wolf listened as if he understood. Back in the cabin, Martha, Gus's neighbor and a retired nurse, examined Maisie. Bruises on her arms. Wrong medication in her bag, she muttered grimly. On the television, Adam Carter appeared in a polished suit, calling it a boating accident, crocodile tears glistening. Martha shook her head. The law will give her back to him. But it's wrong. Maisie whispered later, gripping her locket. Daddy pushed me in. Because of the money. Because of Mom. She's not dead. I hear her. Gus and Martha exchanged troubled glances. That night, Gus searched Adam Carter online. The Carter Foundation had raised millions since Grace's supposed death. But Grace had been a forensic accountant, too much of a coincidence. Gus remembered her father, Frank Andrews, his old partner. Frank had died years earlier, but Grace had his instincts. By morning, a fisherman's video of Wolf rescuing Maisie went viral. The blurry figure pushing the chair looked like Adam. Hashtag Hero Wolf trended, but Gus's gut told him danger was closer than ever. Headlights pierced the fog that night. Wolf growled. Gus rushed Maisie into the cellar with Martha. He opened the door to find Deputy Alex on the porch, rain dripping from his hat. Behind him, Adam appeared. His voice dripped with false concern. My daughter is missing. His cold eyes scanned the room. He spotted a golden curl on the floor. Do children often wander here, Gus? Wolf barked outside. Adam stiffened. That's her dog. She's here. The tension was suffocating until Martha strode in, claiming she had come for their chess game. She smiled politely at Adam, though her eyes were sharp. The deputy's radio crackled. Possible sighting of the girl elsewhere. Adam, frustrated, demanded they leave. Once the vehicles vanished, Martha's composure broke. That was too close. Later, she handed Gus a tiny leather notebook she had found hidden in Maisie's teddy bear. Inside were scribbled notes. Frank Andrews. Safe. Blue butterflies. Gus froze. Grace's handwriting. Soon Wolf led them to a shed, scratching at a loose floorboard. Beneath it lay a waterproof container. Inside, a USB drive and a note addressed to Gus. In the video stored on the drive, Grace appeared, pale but alive. If you're seeing this, I'm in danger and Maisie is too. Adam discovered I had evidence of his crimes. I escaped but couldn't take her. Gus, Dad said you could be trusted. The key to stopping him is in Vault 247. The locket holds the key. Martha covered her mouth in shock. The world thinks she's dead. Gus whispered, she's been gathering proof all along. Maisie stirred in her sleep, clutching the locket tightly. Wolf whined and pressed against her, his body tense, ears pricked toward the woods. Outside, faint footsteps crunched over wet leaves. Gus's hand tightened on his shotgun. The night was far from over. The rain stopped, and dawn lit the lake. Wolf growled at the road as a black Cadillac Escalade rolled past. Gus tensed. Adam was still hunting them. By sunrise, Gus, Martha, Maisie, and Wolf were in Gus's battered pickup, taking back roads toward upstate New York. Maisie clutched her teddy bear, her fingers brushing the locket at her neck. Wolf lay at her feet, eyes sharp. "Will we find Mom?" Maisie whispered. "We're going where she told us," Gus said. "The bank." Maisie stroked Wolf. "Mom said never to take off the locket." Wolf always knew she didn't leave. That's why Dad hated him. Gus gripped the wheel, anger burning at Adam's cruelty, drugging his daughter, trying to drown her. "Your father is looking for us," he warned. They stopped at a mall to disguise themselves. Maisie wore a hoodie and cap. Gus became a stooped old man. Wolf donned a service dog vest, standing tall, as if he understood. Maisie smiled. "He's ready." By noon, they reached the first upstate bank. Gus parked a block away, watching the street. Wolf's rescue video was viral. #HeroWolf, trending nationwide. "Time's running out," Gus muttered. Inside, marble floors gleamed. At the counter, Gus asked for Vault 247. The clerk demanded ID. Maisie opened her locket, revealing a photo of Grace and a tiny key. The manager, Elena Grant, studied them. Grace Carter left instructions. Only her daughter and this dog may access it. Maisie gasped. "Wolf." Elena nodded. In the vault room." Elena opened the box. Documents, a USB drive, a letter. Gus read Grace's words. "If Maisie is here, she's in danger. Adam laundered millions. I'm alive but hiding. Protect her." Maisie's eyes glistened. "Mom wanted me to find this." Wolf whined softly, touching her hand. Gus pocketed the USB. "We leave now." But in the lobby, a screen froze him. Adam, in a suit, weeping for cameras. "My daughter is missing." Tragedy at the lake. Fake tears. Outside, the Escalade waited. Gus hurried them out a side door, slipping into the crowd. They reached the pickup. "Now what?" Martha asked. "To the refuge." Grace mentioned blue butterflies. They drove into the Catskills, where Gus recalled tales of a cottage surrounded by meadows. At a gas station, he checked the USB. Files proved Adam's schemes, shell companies, offshore accounts. A video of Grace appeared. Adam drugged Maisie. "If I don't return, find the blue butterfly refuge. It's safe." The video cut out. Maisie wept. "Why did Daddy do that?" "Some lose themselves for money," Martha said, hugging her. Wolf licked her hand, steady and warm. "We'll find your mother," Gus promised, swerving onto a dirt road as the Cadillac shadowed them. By evening, they reached the refuge, a stone-and-wood house in fields of lupins. Blue butterflies fluttered in the fading light. Maisie gasped. "For Mom's fairy tales." Wolf leapt out, nose to the ground, guiding them to the door. Inside, a note waited. "Gus, if you're here, you found Maisie. I'm safe. Wait for me." Grace relief swept the room, but headlights pierced the windows. The Escalade had found them. Gus shoved Maisie into the cellar. Wolf growled at the door. Gus gripped his empty shotgun. The door slammed open. Adam stormed in, eyes blazing. "Where is she?" "You'll never get her," Gus said, and a voice rose from the shadows. "Adam, it's over." Grace stepped forward, pale but resolute. "Mom." Maisie screamed from below. Wolf rushed to Grace's side, wagging yet vigilant. Adam froze. You died?" "I escaped to stop you," Grace said. She held up another USB. Deputies appeared at the windows. Wolf barred Adam's path. Officers burst in, dragging him away as Maisie rushed into her mother's arms. The refuge fell silent. Grace stroked her daughter's curls, tears flowing. Wolf lay beside them, eyes calm. Gus lowered the shotgun, finally exhaling. Grace explained everything, faking her death after Adam's threats, leaving clues in a locket and teddy bear, gathering evidence from afar. "I hoped Maisie would end up with you. You finished where your father started," Gus said softly. "He'd be proud." Martha opened Grace's USB. Spreadsheets, emails, transfers to Dubai and Panama. An audio file. Adam ordering Maisie drugged. Gus's jaw tightened. "This goes to court." I've already contacted the DA, Grace said. T. Dawn, deputies collected the evidence. Alex, a young officer, saluted Gus. Back on the job? Just an old man helping a friend. Maisie smiled. You're a hero, like Wolf. The dog wagged. The DA soon confirmed Adam's confession and his partner's arrest. The foundation collapsed, its funds redirected to real aid. Grace and Maisie settled nearby, beginning anew. Gus and Martha returned to Willow Creek Lake. One day, Grace and Maisie visited, bringing a drawing of them all by the lake with butterflies. This is our family, Maisie said. Wolf licked her hand. Grace hugged Gus. Thank you for not giving up. Gus smiled, heart full. For the first time in years, he felt home again.